These days, it seems the world requires us to perform at increasingly high standards. At work, in life, and at school. For some, just picturing the end goal seems out of reach, and reaching the goal, impossible. At LearningRx, we know how hard it can be watching someone you love struggle with reading, remembering, problem-solving, or paying attention. Our unique approach to brain training not only sets the right goals for clients, but helps our clients achieve them. On a daily basis, every one of us is bombarded with new information. Our performance in school, work, and life depends on how well the brain grasps and uses that information. To do this, the brain relies on 7 core skills that make it possible to learn new things and perform mental tasks too. When these skills are working together efficiently, we can easily process new information and access the brain's knowledge bank to learn, think, read, write, remember, and solve problems. Let's see this in action. Will you play a quick game with me? Think of the last name of the first U.S. president. Now spell his name backwards. Believe it or not, even this simple task uses all of your cognitive abilities. Let's walk it through together. For starters, to do this, you have to be paying attention. Then you have to remember the instructions, recall his last name, decide how you're going to solve the problem. You might decide to sound out the syllables backwards, then connect letters to those sounds, or picture the name and read it backwards. And your brain is doing all this in a matter of seconds. But imagine if just one of these skills wasn't working efficiently. Solving problems, doing mental tasks, learning new things would be harder, no matter how many times you're taught or tutored. At LearningRx, we test every client to identify weak skills, then give them their own personal brain trainer to target and strengthen those skills. And stronger cognitive skills make learning easier, faster, and better. That's the LearningRx point of difference.
I was dyslexic. I had a hard time sounding out words, so reading and spelling were very difficult for me. Becoming a doctor was a lot more painful than it should have been. In fact, developing brain training programs that could help other people who struggled became my professional goal and is the foundation of LearningRx today. In our centers across the U.S., one of the first things we do is test our clients' brain skills to identify the underlying cause of their struggles. After testing, clients work one-to-one with their own personal brain trainer, doing intense but fun mental exercises that strengthen weak brain skills to make learning easier, thinking faster, and performing better. By focusing on the root cause of the problem rather than the symptom, we change the lives of children and adults every day.
Our one-on-one brain training has changed the skills and lives of over 95,000 kids and adults. Based on published research, here are the average gains our clients experience. Attention improves by an average of 15.5 percentile points. Short-term or working memory improves by an average of 25 percentile points. Long-term memory improves by an average of 45 percentile points. Logic and reasoning, which helps a person think through a problem and formulate a solution, improves by an average of 38 percentile points. Auditory processing, which allows us to blend and segment sounds for successful reading and spelling, improves by an average of 9 percentile points or 3.6 skill years. Visual processing, which creates mental images and pictures for better memory and comprehension, improves by an average of 22 percentile points. Processing speed, which is how quickly the brain uses all these skills to learn or perform, improves by an average of 19 percentile points. Our programs even improve IQ by an average of 15 standard points. Imagine a day when learning and everyday life are fun again, when reading, remembering, problem-solving, and paying attention are easier and less stressful.
I think it started with Mark. because I knew he was brilliant, I knew he was smart, but I knew he could be doing better than he was. And I saw it not as a lazy thing, it was more of a frustration. It was almost as if he would just hit a wall with work. And so instead of pushing through and completing the work and turning it in and getting the grade, it would just stop.
I personally had struggles with turning my work in, a lot on tests. I was not doing well in my classes. I had low grades. I wasn't getting a lot of the material. I wasn't understanding a lot of it. I wasn't remembering a lot of stuff, and I think LearningRx definitely did help with that.
So there's more follow through on his part, there's more ownership on his part, and I think there's definitely more understanding on his part of the process of completing an assignment versus just filling in the blanks.
It was nice to be able to do something that made me feel good about myself. Like I would come out of the LearningRx feeling much better about myself as a person. I'd go back into the school the next day thinking, I'm going to be great at this today.
With Catherine, I think for her it's definitely helped her kind of settle. She's an overachiever kind of personality where she would come down at 11 o'clock at night and she couldn't get to sleep because she had an assignment.
I would get really freaked out over school, and I was really uptight about it, and I was always worried. And so occasionally I would break down, and that was hard because at home it's just not something you like to do. So I don't really break down anymore. And I've kind of learned, it's okay, it's not, if you get, a B on something, it's not the end of the world.
She's been able to say, I need to set this up, and I need to set this up in this order so that I can get it all done on time and have it turned in, and I won't lose sleep, and I won't, be falling apart when I shouldn't be falling apart.
My confidence was extremely low, feeling that I just couldn't do it. And after the program, it got to the point where I knew that even if I was struggling, I could do it, and that I would get through all of the things that were frustrating before.
She was a fast reader, and her teachers would tell me she was fast, and that wasn't the issue. They even would try to sometimes have her slow down her reading to see if the comprehension would be there, and it wasn't. It was truly a comprehension struggle, not just being a teenager. And because of other areas where she had strengths, we knew these couple areas there was something going on. But I would say about halfway through the program, it kind of brings tears to my eyes because Bailey herself as a 14-year-old noticed and was able to tell me the difference she felt, and we weren't in school at that time.
I have seen students succeed well in the program, especially in the ReadRx program, kids who were really struggling, who completed the program and were reading and confident and able to read fluently. And so seeing that firsthand has been pretty amazing. Tutoring only gets you so far, and I feel like LearningRx really unlocks the kids' potential to be the best that they can be.
After beginning the program at LearningRx, I started getting really passionate about learning. I'd come home just excited about the things I'd learned at school, and I'd come home and want to go to college suddenly after wanting to clean houses for the rest of my life. I had this new passion for psychology specifically, and I'd come home and watch documentaries, and was going and buying books at the bookstore to read about handwriting analysis and just all of these things, these new passions and new excitements that kind of came up in me. If I could talk to my 16-year-old self in the past, I think I would tell myself to take it a lot more seriously, that it was actually worthwhile, and that the changes that happened because of that program are lasting.
One of the things that most impresses me about the LearningRx program is the intensity. And the intensity that you see is kind of logical. That if you want to gain physical endurance, you exercise with intensity. Well, if you want to gain brain function, you exercise your brain with intensity. And it's that feature of the LearningRx cognitive training program that most impresses me. We see these great results because we train intensely.
Definitely, I didn't truly believe that a program could make this much of a change. However, after I even looked at my mom and I thanked her for putting me through the program because it did make such a big difference.
I recommend it to everyone.
If you don't know why you or your child is struggling, the first step is to find the cause. Come into one of our centers for a cognitive skills assessment. We'll review your assessment results, listen to your story, and show you the underlying causes of your struggle. Then together we will determine which of our programs is right for you. Don't wait another day. Come and see what LearningRx can do for you or someone you love. We call it brain training. Our clients call it life-changing.